Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Garima Singh signing in for today's video. In today's video, we'll be continuing with our second chapter which was about some basic concept of macroeconomics. Okay, please go and revise the previous two videos so that you can relate what I am going to teach in this video. These are the concept, the stock and the flow concept, very important, need to understand because one or two questions will surely come from this topic. Okay, so when I say stock or the flow, okay, both the concept relates to the quantity. The difference here is only the time. Okay, when we measure the quantity over a point of time, it is known as the stock. Measure the quantity over a period of time, it means the flow. Okay, mostly all the concept in economics is all about the flow concept like export, import. Okay, so now let's further get into their meaning and I'll give you various examples so that the concept is very clear to you all. As I said, stock is what? It is the quantity that is measured over a period, not period but a particular point of time. Okay, so be attentive. If I make any mistake, you guys need to comment in the comment section. Okay, this is just to check whether you guys are listening to the concept actively or not. Okay, so stock is what? It is measured, it is the quantity which is measured at a particular point of time. Okay, for example, I have 50,000 rupees in my bank account on today's date. Okay, which is 11th of June, I have 50,000 rupees in my bank account. So, this is my stock that I have 50,000 rupees with me. On which date? By 11th of June I have it. Okay, now coming to the another concept which is the flow concept. Again, here quantity is measured but over a specific period of time. Okay, if I say I get every day, I get 1500 rupees for my monthly pocket allowance. I go and spend 50 rupees daily per hour. Okay, so I am now talking about a specific period of time. Okay, so in a day per hour, how much money I am spending out of that my pocket money. That will be considered as the flow concept. Okay, now I'll give you one more example here. Suppose on Jan 1, 2019, I have 1 lakh rupees in my account. Okay, and on the next month, Feb 1, I have 1.5 lakh rupees in my bank account. Okay, so when we measure quantity at a particular point of time, particular as in here I measured it on 1st Jan and after that, after a month, I again measured it on Feb 1st. Okay, so here I am measuring the amount of money that I have in my account on a particular point of time, on a particular date. Okay, so this will be called as the stock concept. Okay, whereas if I get 50,000 rupees out of this 1.5 lakh as my pocket allowance per month. Okay, so out of which how much I will be spending every day, per day or per hour, that will be called as the flow. Okay, I hope the concept of stock and flow is clear to you all. Now let's see the major difference between the both and various examples that we can get in our economics or as macro concept. Okay, now coming on to the difference between the stock and the flow. Number one here is, in the concept of stock, we consider the value of variable at a point of time that I have explained to you. Okay, and in flow we consider the value of variable during a period of time. Okay, now coming to the second point, stock is not a time dimensional because we are talking here about a particular day, particular time. So therefore this is not a time dimensional concept. Whereas the flow is a time dimensional concept. Why? Because we are calculating this concept over a period of time. Okay, like for month, for years and for or annually. Okay, so this is a time dimensional concept. third point, which is very important, which says stock impact the flow. If we have greater value of stocks, this will lead to the increase in the value of flow of goods and services, and also the flow impact the stock. If we have greater flow of income, this will lead to the greater stock of wealth. Okay, therefore from the third point you all get to know that the stock and the time and the flow concept are mutually interrelated or interdependent. That I'll be explaining you in next coming 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, now let's first see various example of stock and the flow. So example of stock in economics are the wealth, the labor force, the capital, the quantity or supply of money, bank deposit, and the population. Okay, whereas when we talk about the flow, its example are the income, the expenditure of wealth, capital formation, change in money supply, number of births in a country per year, and interest on capital rate. Okay, now if I say there is a tank of water, okay, that tank of water will be called as stock concept or a flow concept. Obviously it is the stock concept, okay, because all the water is present in that tank. Okay, when I say there is a leakage of tap which is leading to the decrease in the volume of water per hour. Okay, so this leakage of water from the tap per hour will be my flow concept. Okay, I said in my third point that there is a mutual interdependence between the stock and the flow concept, which I'll be explaining here right now. Okay, so suppose every month I go and deposit rupees 2000 in the bank. Okay, and on June 11th, which is today, I have in my saving account rupees 2 lakh rupees with the bank. Okay, this is my saving. Now if I go and withdraw rupees 1000 per month from my saving account, okay, so all this procedure is interrelated. First I went and deposit some amount, then I go and take out some of the money to make my expenses per month. Okay, now coming on to the individual process, the step number 1 was the deposit of rupees 2000, okay, per month, which means I am talking about a particular specific period of time which is per month. Okay, so this will be called as my flow concept. Okay, whereas when I went and checked while after depositing this money, I checked that now I have rupees 2 lakh rupees in my bank account. Okay, on the date 11 June. It means this is my stock concept. Why? Because I am now looking at the quantity of my money at a particular point of time. Which point? On 11th June. Okay, whereas if I go and take rupees 1000, withdraw it every month, which means I will be spending this 1000 rupees per month on the basis of per day or per hour. Okay, so again I am talking about a specific period of time. Okay, so this will be called my flow concept. Therefore, the stock and the flow concept are interrelated, mutually related. Okay, if there is increase in the flow, this will lead to the greater stock, whereas if I have a greater stock value, therefore I will have the greater flow of goods and services. Okay, now from the macro point of view, the economy is divided into 4 sector economy. Okay, so we divide our economy into 4 major sectors. The number 1 sector here is the household sector, which is also known as the sector of the owner of the factor of production. Okay, because here each and every household unit is calculated. Okay, so this sector consists of all the consumers of the goods and services, and some of them must be the owner of some factory, some plant, some machinery. Okay, therefore this sector is known as the owner of the factor of production. Okay, now coming on to the next sector is our producer sector, which means all the producing units are here in this sector. Okay, so this sector is also known as the sector of factor of production. When I say factor of production, it means what all factors are required in the process of production. Like we require land, labor, capital, skill in order to produce goods and services. Therefore, the second sector, which is the producer sector, is also known as the sector of factor of productions. Now coming to this third sector of our economy, which is our government sector. Okay, so in this sector we have the government playing the major role. So government play as the welfare agent. Okay, government's duty is to maximize the social welfare of people. Therefore, we call the government as the welfare agent and also as a producer. Producer, why? Because government has the only right to produce some defense products, okay, and various other goods, which right is conserved with the government only. Therefore, government sector is considered as the welfare agent and also the producer of some goods and services in the economy. Now coming to the last sector, which is about the external sector. External means out of India. Okay, because we are talking about our economy, and if I say external sector, it means outside our economy. Okay, so this is the last and the fourth sector, which consists of rest of the world. Okay, where export and import of goods and services happen, capital flow happen. Okay, now while discussing the difference between the both concept, flow and stock concept, I have already explained that there is a intersectoral interdependence. Okay, here also when we talk about the four sectors of economy, there is again intersectoral flow. Okay, we'll be studying it into two terms, in term of flow of money between the sectors and the real flow. Okay, when I say real flow, it will consist of the goods and services. But before that, let's understand the intersectoral flow, which means that there is some interdependence between all the sectors of the economy. When I say the household sector, this sector depends on the producer sector for the supply of goods and services, because this sector is all about the consumer. Okay, now this household sector depends on the producer sector for goods and services, whereas the producer sector also depends on the household sector. Why? Because the owner of the factor of production lies in the household sector. Okay, now coming on to the next point, which is household sector and the producer sector again depend on the government sector. How? For the defense and the welfare purpose. Okay, whereas the government sector also depend on my producer sector and also on the household sector. For what purpose? For tax and non-tax revenue that the government collect from both the sectors. Okay, and at last we have the external sector, where we as a nation depend on rest of the world, and rest of the world depend upon us for some goods and services. Okay, now we'll be studying about the intersectoral flow, which is about the flow of money, and the real flow, which is about the flow of goods and services between all these sectors. Now after understanding the mutual interdependence between all the sectors, now let's understand the real flow concept and the money flow concept. When I say real flow, it means I am talking about the goods and services are being exchanged. Okay, and when I say money flow, it means the money is being exchanged. Now, to make the process very simple, because it becomes difficult to explain in four sector, so I'll be explaining using an illustration of two sector economy. Okay, suppose there are two sectors of the economy, which is household sector and the producer sector. Both these sectors are interdependent on each other for real flow. Real flow means the flow of goods and services. Household sector provides the factor services, like, because this sector is the owner of the factor of production, so this will be providing the land, labor, capital, etc. Okay, whereas using all these factor services, the producer sector will be producing goods and services and will be selling all those to the household sector, therefore fulfilling their demand. This is how the real flow means the good and services flow happens between the various sectors of the economy. Now, coming on to the next flow, which is about the money flow in this two-sector economy. As the name only suggests, money flow, it means the money will be calculated here. Okay, when I say real flow, it means goods and services. When I say money flow, it means in terms of money we'll be talking now. So, the household sector make payment, this producer sector will make payment for the factor services that this sector is purchasing from this sector in terms of land, labor, capital. Okay, whereas the household sector will be making expenditure. How? And giving back money to the producer sector by paying or making purchase of goods and services that this sector is producing. Therefore, there will be exchange of money between both the sector. This will be called as the money flow between this sector of economy. Okay, this is how it happens between all the four sectors of the economy. But to make the process simple and easy to understand for you guys, I have taken the example of two-sector economy. Apart from that, the process is same. There is a mutual interdependence and the real flow of money and real flow of goods and services happen between all the four sectors of the economy, which is the household sector, the producer sector, the government and the rest of the world. Now coming on to the next topic, which is called the circular flow of income. Okay, so as you all know, in economy, there are three major activities which are happening and these activities are never ending. Okay, whenever all these activities will stop, it will lead to a situation of stagnation. Okay, so as we all know that in our economy, the never ending activities are the production of goods and services, also there is generation of income, and also the consumers are making expenditure. Okay, so all these activities, the production, the generation of income and the expenditure activities happening in an economy are the lifeline of an economy. Without all these activities, these never ending activities, an economy is considered to be dead. Okay, as there is never ending flow, and this flow is termed as the circular flow of income, as all of these activities are leading to the generation of some income. Okay, and the income is being in a circular flow in between all the three activities. Okay, each activity has the consequence on the other activity in the economy. Therefore, this concept is known as the circular flow of income. Coming to the graphical representation of circular flow of income, we have divided into three phases of circular flow. Okay, and this is also known as the triple identity. Triple identity means because three factors, three activities are included here. When I say production of goods and services happen, the producer sector is producing various goods and services which led to the generation of income. Of whose income? The producer sector. How the income is generated? By selling all the goods and services of this sector to the consumer sector. This sector is producing some income. Okay, and as you all know, the household sector is the owner of the factor of production. The producer sector is paying some factor payments to the household sector. Therefore, the household sector has the income, and the income is spent by them in form of expenditure in buying these goods and services. Therefore, this is leading to the circular flow of income into the three phases, which is known as the production of goods and services, generation of income and the expenditure. All of these activities are interrelated, and consequence of one activity is leading to the consequences on the other activities. Therefore, all the three phases of the circular flow of income is also known as the triple identity. Now, coming on to the significance of the circular flow model, which we have studied right now. Number one here is, it helps in the estimation of national income. Where this is national income. Y here stand for income and N stand for national. Okay, so national income, calculation become easy. Okay, when I say national income, it means the sum of the total factors of income. Okay, which will include all the rent, profit, wages and the interest. Adding all this factor income, I'll get my national income. Therefore, it shows the flow from the producer sector to the household sector that we have studied in the two-sector economy. Now, next significance here is it also tells us about, give us the knowledge about the intersectoral dependence. Now we know all the four sectors of the economy are mutually interrelated and are interdependent on each other. Okay, like I have explained previously here. That's it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching my video. If you have any queries, you can just comment down in the comment section and I'll make sure that I'll reach out to each one of you. And also guys, do not forget to press in the thumbs up icon, like, share and subscribe to my channel and help us grow more each day and every day. Thank you so much.